Hey guys, it's Maymay and welcome to part 2 of letting the paper do the work with this folio. Let me show you what I mean. So we've already gotten to this point in part 1 and that video will be linked in the description below for you guys. But what we're doing is we're kind of playing ahead, right? We're looking at our cut aparts, we're looking at where we want them to live, and we're kind of placing them as we go. So like this guy's a magnet closure for that pocket. This is just the cover for a pocket, which I think is pretty. This guy opens like a door first, so you have real estate inside, and then it opens and reveals this pocket here. And today we're going to be working on, remember this flap? I said I don't know what I'm doing and I don't know what's going to happen. Well, now I do know, or at least I know the next part. So let's work on this flap. If you've gotten to this same point with me, you should have this little piece that's going, add something to me, and that's where we're going to go. So I'm going to move this to the side for a sec. Well, I better not. I better show you how I got my measurements, okay? So here's what I want to pay attention to. Inside of here, I can do anything I want with this flap. I can literally add anything to it. I can glue it down and make it a pocket. I could add a cut apart and make it a flip, like put a little magnet here and have it do like this. What we're going to do is a little different. But the reason I'm pointing all those things out is because whatever you decide to do in this area, you need to pay attention to the space you have available. I have 6 inches available. That's it. Okay. I don't like to work all the way to the 6-inch mark, and I'll tell you why. If you have any bulk in your spine here, and if you get all the way to 6 inches, this guy might not close correctly. You might get some resistance on the sides because of having a piece that's exact. So what I like to do is always kind of err to a 1/4 of an inch back. And it's not really an error. It's more of a, this is a good idea. I just, instead of going 6 inches when I'm making the width of my items to go inside, if I want them to be full pages, I'll go a 1/4 of an inch shy. It won't matter. You won't really feel it, but then I know my spines and everything will close as they should. Because depending on how I'm attaching here, it gives me a 1/4 of an inch to work with here or here and still have room to close everything up. So that's the first thing we want to look at. So we know 5 3/4 is the most width we can work on. And because of our paper, we know 8 1/2 is our height. So I'm going back to a 12 by 12 piece of cardstock. And what I'm going to do first is I'm going to put this into my trimmer and cut it down to 5 3/4. That is the width that I'm going to be working with. So I'm just going to cut that down. Now, this piece we're going to use in a second, so I'm going to put that aside. This guy, what I want to do is I want to score him at 8 1/2. Now, why? I'm going to create a pocket on the bottom of this page, and I know I have 8 1/2 for height. Okay, so if I put this into this is my score and trimmer board, by the way. You can use board if you would like. I'm just going to use this little bone folder here, but I'm going to score this at 8 1/2. And I don't even have to do any measures other than that. And I know this will become my pocket, that little leftover bit. So we can then fold this up and crease it down. That is going to be the page that lives inside. Now, I want this page to have a closure. Okay. As a matter of fact, I might not even glue this down. I may allow this closure to be just a magnet closure here. And when you open this flip, you also end up opening this flip, right? So I have the option because I can always glue this later. So what I want to do is create a piece from this guy that will be that piece that lays over. So the first thing I need to do, cut it down to 5 3/4. What's fun about this is all you do is start with that 12 by 12 piece of cardstock and create whatever you want. You don't really have any, there's no rules. You just create, right? So let's do this. Let's put our ruler here. I said there's no rules. Let's lay our ruler down. Okay, so I want to decide how far over I want this flap to lay on this pocket. I want it to lay pretty good, but I also want my cut apart to be the magnet part. So I don't want to, like, I don't want to cover half of this little flap down here. I want to be more up here. And the reason I do, I want to give myself space for a magnet, but again, I don't want to make my cut apart look kind of weird. You'll see that in a few minutes. So I think what I'm going to do is go with 6 inches for the length of my flap. That gives me a full inch to add a magnet, and I can just add a small magnet because of where it's going. Then I need to add a 1/2 inch. Now, why do I need to do that? I want to wrap a 1/2 inch here as a binding strip. Okay, so what I'm going to do is cut a piece that's 5 3/4 by 6 1/2. If this is going a little fast, I don't mean to, but if it is going a little fast, just remember you can watch this multiple times for it to make sense, okay? Now that I have a 6.5-inch piece, let's make our binding strip. Let's move this up in our trimmer using our bone folder, what would this be called? Blade. It's not a blade, but the bone folder part. Go ahead and score 1/2 inch. So we've got that done. Now I can fold and crease that little 1/2 inch binding piece. Now, like I always do, I like to take the bulk off of these guys when they're going the full width of something. You probably notice, let me point this out because I want you to see the different places you take bulk and the different places you don't. You probably notice when we applied this guy, I did not worry about doing an angle cut on this flap because there's no bulk being created on the ends, if that makes sense, okay? This guy was fine to leave the whole piece. However, where I'm wanting to put this guy, where I want him to live, he's going to go from edge to edge. And I feel like if I leave this little point here, I could create some bulk on the ends of the page I don't need. So rather than taking a chance while I've got it here, I'll just do a little angle cut. So you'll think about this as you go, like where could I be adding bulk? Where am I not adding bulk? And that's when you'll decide that these little angle cuts need to happen. And this goes from score line in. So you see how I just do that? So now when we glue this into our book, nothing here will be too heavy in the book on the edges. May not make sense, but once you start making these guys, it will start being like, oh, that's why we do that. Now, the next thing is this. You need to decide, do you want to put this flap onto the front like this, or do you want to put this flap onto the back like this? And you can do either way. You're going to cover it with paper no matter what you do. I kind of want it on the back. I would like to see a seamless transition here more than this situation. You see how we end up with like more bulk there? So what I'm going to do is add glue to the inside of this flap. Good place for sticky tape if you're a sticky tape user. It's a great spot for that. And now what I'm going to do is just pick this up a little bit, lay this in and line it up. And what I'm lining up, because we cut that bulk, we cut those edges, I'm really lining up the thickest or the widest part of the page here. So let's tap this down and get that in place. Then I'm going to turn it over. Remember how I told you that art glitter glue likes pressure? I'm going to press it down. And don't worry, we're going to cover this up. We'll be hiding all of this in the back anyway with cardstocks and pretties and things like that. All right, so this is what we've created now. And you'll see, let me turn this to the side, that we're overlapping by 1 inch. Do you see that? So we've got our inch there. And now when we pick a cut apart, I'm just going to pick this one up. It's not probably the one I'll use, but we can put it down here, glue it to the flap, and let it be our magnet closure here. Won't that be cute? And we can decide if we want it to keep opening. I may glue this down. I don't know. I could always add another cut apart and have it open like that. Who knows? We'll see when we get into the book. So let's go to the book now. Now, I'm tempted to take advantage of this, and I probably will. Let me show you. If I glue this 3 sides into the book, you see what I'm saying? If I do 3-sided glue, I end up with a pocket in the back. And that's pretty good. It's always good to have a pocket if you've got space for it and things like that. The one thing I want to caution you about, if you make the pocket on this side, you have no gap here in your spine. So you can't put anything very big in there. If you do, you'll get a bubble in the book. So you want to make sure anytime you're adding bulk, it's kind of where you have spine. So let me show you another option. I can open this guy up, okay? And I can bring this pocket in here. And then I've created a side pocket, and then we can have this little closure like this. And again, we don't have a lot of space, so we got to do a small insert in that pocket. We don't want to get too bulky, but then it kind of lives between this whole section, and I like that. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I am going to make it a pocket. If you didn't want a pocket, if you're like, I have enough pockets in here, I just want to install this piece, then just glue this down and give yourself this whole area. The other thing I want to say to you, y'all are probably tired of me talking at this point, but the other thing I want to say is when you're building your albums, if you have an opportunity for a pocket like this, the 3-sided situation, go ahead and take advantage of that, because once you start decorating, if you go, I don't think I want this to be a pocket, it's real simple to just glue that guy shut. and then you don't have to worry about it. But it's real hard to open it back up. So I'm going to go ahead and do this. I'm going to open this out and lay it in. And take my time here because I want to get it lined in good. Close this down. Now, what are we checking? We're going to make sure the top will close. We want to make sure the bottom will close without too much resistance. There was a little bit there, but because I really kind of want this to be a pinch pocket, it actually pushed it up into place and we're fine. All right, so let's rub this down. Use my bone folder and set that in. So this is another opportunity here for an insert or something kind of cute and a place for us to put a magnet. See how I'm getting that resistance? I tell you what I should have done. I should have done a test run and done maybe a little bit of an angle cut here. I did not. Maybe even I should have trimmed a little bit more off and I didn't. I'm not going to stress. What I'm going to do is turn this like this and then we'll bring it over and just retrain the paper. So see how, and try to get that out of the way. See how now I have this lift on this side. You can see the difference. I'm going to hold it where I want it. Okay. And then I'm just going to retrain the paper with my bone folder. And sometimes this is harder than you think. And the reason I say that is sometimes, especially this, this particular paper, the texture in it makes it want to kind of stay where it was. I come up here and I want to rescore it a little bit. I can just take my ruler and my bone folder and just kind of work this area where it doesn't want to move and kind of break up those fibers. Then bring it over and push it down into place. And that helped. I could see that the bulk went away. Now, don't stress. This is not the end of the world. It's no big deal. You probably didn't have to do even that much work that I just did. You probably would have been fine. Put your magnet in. Once you put more paper on here and get some weight, it'll be no problem. All right, let's talk about the closure. Let's go look at our cut aparts. All right, I've got several that I've already cut. This guy is just a snowflake piece. I probably won't use him. I'll use him somewhere else. This one's a little dark. This one is pretty. I like this and the play on the blue that's laying over here. I think that one's pretty. So that's a contender. We'll put him aside. This one I think is a little dark again. I like the brightness. I want to kind of brighten it up. This is really cute. Look how that looks. That looks almost like it was meant for that area. And using something like this would give us room for a photo up here or some other cute opportunity. And then look at this one. Now, this one thing I like, I could cut this down to the white edge and then remat it and lose some of that size if I wanted to. I could bring it into about right here. I don't think it's too big at all like it is, but that's an option too. Many times you can cut to the inside of something, right? For example, if you only had a cut apart like this and it's too big, if you cut it down to that white piece on the inside or even just right to the edge of it, you could use that and it would be perfect right there on that little piece because it's so wide. Let's do that. And I want to show you how that works because I think it fits there really well. Okay, so for this one, what we're going to do is take this cut apart and I think I'm going to leave a little bit of that plaid showing. So I'm going to get myself started with the first cut. And what I'm doing is looking at my cut line to see where where my blade is going to go. You can even do, this and kind of check inside of here, but I'll show you what I mean when I cut this. See, I left a little of that blue. I think that's pretty there. So that's probably about 1/8 of an inch. Some of you don't like to eyeball. I tend to eyeball this. And if you don't like to, just put your ruler on it, make some marks where you want to cut. Or use your layer guides. I did not dig those out. I could have done that. They're over here on my desk. But this would be a good place to kind of give yourself an idea of, using layer guide to use that to make your ruler marks. All right, I got a little tight right here, so I'm going to take a little more off here. Just a sliver to kind of even those out. Now I'm going to get my corner rounder, and because this little cut apart is rounded, I'm going to come in here and just barely round that little edge. And I'm actually not using so much the guide in here as I am just looking in there and seeing where that is lining up to make my punch. So to kind of match it. That is, those little pieces, those little touches are the ones that make you look at it and go, wow, you made this? Because a lot of people wouldn't realize you have a corner rounder punch that can do this kind of thing. All right, so we've made a smaller cut apart. Let's go back to the folio. Lay this guy down. And now look, won't that be cute there? It looks kind of custom, doesn't it? Now I want to border it one more time because I don't want to just use the cut apart. I actually want to put the green behind it. And we have lots of scraps of green. So let me go dig one of those out that'll fit. And this scrap fits really good top and bottom. So I'm just going to cut it to fit here. So again, I'm eyeballing this. If this makes you nervous, just measure. but it doesn't bother me to just do this. I think I need a tiny bit more. There we go. So now you can see we've got that guy centered up, and we can corner around the edges and turn it into our little holder, our little magnet holder. While I've got that corner rounder out, I think I want to corner around these pieces too, especially since I'm not turning this into a pocket. I think it'll look better to not be so sharp on the points. So just take your corner rounder and get those edges. If you're watching me later and you decide to do this same album, you can do this part before you glue it all in, and it might be a little easier. All right, so let's put our magnet between these two. So I'm going to put a magnet behind here, and then that magnet will then go underneath here. So that will be where we start. Let's grab a magnet. And I told you I was going to use the smaller one here. I don't think this is going to need a bigger magnet in this area. So grab one of these pluses and a minus out. There we go. I always like to just check them and make sure I got the right ones. That's why I stick those together to start with. Let's peel this little backer off. Notice how I just kind of magnet it to my scissors to let me place it. The adhesive side is up and the scissors are just holding it. All right, so we have to do a little thinking here. We are placing this magnet normal. We're just going to, place it and then have it sit on top of that one and close. But I don't want it to be exposed. So if I put it back here, it's going to be exposed. Unless I cover this with a cut apart. I may or may not do that. I don't know at this point. So what I am going to do is instead of installing this down here, I'm going to put it onto this cut apart. Okay. And the reason for that, I'm leaving myself some room to glue it. About like that. I also need to kind of make sure that this is going to hang over. We can do that though. We can adjust it. The reason I'm doing the magnet that way is I need the front of the magnet to face down to this guy. You see that? So that's why I'm doing it that way. Had I applied it here facing up, it would have been exposed to be able to close it, if that makes sense. And again, later I might have added, a cut apart or something to the back of this guy, but in case I don't, my magnet will be hidden no matter what I do. Some of you mentioned in part 1, and I haven't been doing this in this album. I typically do. If you want to, and it's never a bad idea, you can always add a piece of sticky tape on top of this magnet and peel off the backer, and that'll help to make sure it stays in place as well. And I do that sometimes. I have not done it so much lately. The art glitter glue just seems to do a good job encasing it. And when I can do it quicker, that's typically how I like to do it. All right, so we got this guy started. Let's rub that down. That good and attached. And now let's go back to the book. Now he's going to live here. The only thing we need to make sure of is that he's going to hang over enough, okay, for our magnet, and he will. But what happens if I glue him directly down? I can't get underneath him to mat the page. So let's do that now. Let's go ahead and mat the page. So see how we're having to think ahead with our cut aparts? It's not hard to do. It's just a little different than we're used to. So let me find some pages that I want to use to mat here and here. So I also have a 6x6 pad of this paper pack. I think I'm going to dig into it for this part. I think this will be cute to add the different kind of size of design. It's the same designs that we've been using throughout, but I think this is a good way to add it. So let me look in here and see what pages I like. So I really like the way these 2 pages look. So I think I'm going to cut those down and let that be what lives right there. So these are going to lay like this in the book, but remember we corner rounded the edges of our little flaps. We need to do the same on these pages so that they'll map correctly. So this piece I can go ahead and just glue down into place. And you see how round in the corners makes it match what we did there. So I'm going to go ahead and glue this one directly down. Nothing's going behind it. Just think ahead. Are we trying to put, were you going to put a ribbon behind it? Were you going to put a magnet behind it? I'm not here. So just be thinking ahead. So there's that piece. And now, before we put this piece on, we want to install our second magnet. I'm going to open that one up, and I want that magnet to go behind here, okay? So let's see. Let's do a little bit of placement here. Let's see where this guy needs to live. I don't want to go super, super low. I would like to get there just so the magnet catches, and I do believe that my magnet will catch there. Let's move this guy. I'm going to place this little magnet back here so I can see where it's supposed to be. I peeled off the backer, but I'm not going to stick it directly just yet. I'm just going to lay this down and kind of feel where I want it. And I think that looks pretty good. So now I can press that magnet into place and know that's where it needs to go. Plenty of room. That's going to work out just fine. All right, so now we can glue this guy down. Let's bring this guy over, place this, and see how that's going to hold that down. All I need to do is glue this to the top. So I've got the magnet in place. I let that grab first, and then I'll just lay this and glue. Lift this up and flip it back and press that down. So you can see by using all that green and hiding that magnet inside, it looks kind of like one piece. And then that's going to live like that. So now when we come here, we have another piece we can open, and it'll open this way as well. All right, what I'm going to do is take a minute, because I'm not going to add any more flips or flaps or anything here. I'm going to take a minute to go ahead and cover these pieces on the inside as well. Okay, so we have this installed, and I'll show you what all's been covered. I didn't cover this or this yet. Not sure what we're doing there, but I got all of this covered, and I went ahead and covered inside of here. So pretty much everything has got its cardstock on. All right, I'm going to close this up because I want to go back to the front and show you. Oh, let me show you this. You remember how I was telling you got to be careful about bulk? Okay, these pieces go together like this, and it's a little bulky. However, we're going to be okay because all that bulk is pushing into this space. So you'll see when I close it, there's still plenty of room. But you want to pay attention to that, because you don't want to build, like I certainly did not want to build this bulk here, because when I closed it up, all of that pocket that would have been in here would have made this kind of bow out. All right, let's go to the front, and I want to show you this. So I was showing this to Shannon, and I'm like, I really don't like what I've done here. I was kind of like, I really shouldn't have this flap. It kind of bothers me. I really want it to start here. So I closed it like this and went, oh, wait, I do like that. I like this piece going back so that when you open the book, you kind of see where to lift. So here's what I think I'm going to do. I think I'm going to put photos in here, but I'm going to add a magnet to keep this closed backwards. Now, the other thing I could do, this is not the end of the world. I could certainly just cut this off, even though at this point I've decided I don't like it, and just have the one flap. But since I'm doing all the magnets and the flaps, let's just do this. Now, I am going to use the bigger magnet here. I want to use a bigger set because I'm going to put a photo mat and then a photo on top. So there'll be a lot of paper between. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on. And I think what I'm going to do, there's a magnet under there. Do you see that? Let me see if this will do what I think it will do. I may be able to use that magnet to my advantage and not have to put both of these on. Let me just see. So I'm going to peel the back off of this. I know this is fine because the piece, I already know the photo piece I'm going to put here. So this will cover up this magnet. So I'm going to take this backer off. I'm going to flip this page over and pick that magnet up. It's using the one underneath it, okay? And I think that's kind of interesting if I don't have to add another one. It just happened to land where this magnet and that one are pretty much the same. Do you see that? It's just going to hold it in place. So before I put the other one on, I can add this one right here, and it'll be fine because that magnet underneath is going to work for it as well. Before I do, I'll put all the pages on and see if it'll stick. If it won't, I'll add this one. So these are some photo mats I already had made. We tend to make extras and just keep a pile of them. But let me tell you, in case this is the first time you're seeing this, this is from several stamp sets that we have. Actually, I think we have 3 now that have place photo here and then the numbers. I'll make sure we link those in the products, either in the description or in the blog post about this video. But what we typically do is we cut this white piece to be 4x6, and then we do the place photo here. And you'll see in this one, I'm also going to use some 3x4s, which we stamped. And then depending on the album, we will mat it to match kind of the folio that we're building. So on the page, it looks like this. Now, this gets covered up by a picture. So you don't have to use you certainly don't want to use a really good cardstock here. You want to use kind of your utilitarian cardstock, the one you use all the time for just testing and scraps and things like that. Because when you give this to somebody, it's going to get covered up. Now, if this album is yours and you're not making it for somebody else, you're making it for yourself, there's really no need for this. You can just put your picture right down and cover up that page, okay? But we're going to do it like this. So I'm going to glue these down and see if that I'm going to glue one down and then see if that single magnet's going to work for us. So let's glue this guy down. I know he's good. What I mean by I know he's good is his magnet is already in place. So we're fine on this one. All right, so let's put this guy here. And again, we're going to do some pressure. All right, so let's see what this feels like. It's closing. I think it feels okay. Let's put the other magnet down just because and just see the difference. So put that one there and bring this one over. Oh, I like that better. That was a much better closure. It kind of took it from me and made it happen. So I think we're going to do that. So this will be pretty easy because I'm going to peel the backer off, and I'm going to take this and stick it to my scissors, turn this down and let it grab because it knows where to put it, okay? And then I can just cover this up and they will close correctly. All right, let's see how that does. Much better because, I mean, even though that was pulling before and it was going to be fine, once I put a photo here and a photo here, it's really going to need that extra, and that's really holding well. All right, so I'm glad we did that. I'm going to close that section and we'll go to the next. All right, inside of here, we can decide what's going to happen. I've already gone through and kind of counted how many photos I have and I will need. So let's go ahead and get those photo mats like we just installed, created, and we'll run through and put them in. Inside of here, remember we made a space where we could put a photo or something. I'm going to add this little 3x4 photo right here, and I'm not going to mat it. I'm just going to put it like this, and I'm going to use this for like ephemera or something in a little bit, but I think this will be cute inside here, and I'm just going to put a cut apart here to hide this magnet. So let's go ahead and glue this down and pick our cut apart that's going there. Remember that cut apart I had that was just kind of snowflakes and it was kind of plain? I love the backside of this. So I'm going to put that in here, and I can add ephemera here later and see how bright that makes this. Love it. So I got that done. And then when I flip this back, look at how cute this is. So this space just kind of lends itself to a little 3x4 photo. And because I use kind of the larger magnet there, it's going to close just fine. And remember, if you're making this for yourself, don't add this bulk. Just put a photo there. Love it. Super cute. Okay. So Shannon took a few minutes to mat some photo pieces for me. Let me show you. So she just made me a stack. And like I said, these are ones we had already made. And let me show you what sometimes happens. This is with one stamp set, but then I had these also that were made with another. And I don't mind mixing them because remember, once the photo album is decorated, those are going to go, you're going to see that anyway. So we're going to use both of these. So 2 pieces she made for me, she did front and back, and I'll show you where those are going in a few minutes. But these guys, we can run through and place. I don't know that I'm going to put a photo here. I feel like I've got a lot of photo spots in here, and I may do something cut apart or ephemera here. So I'm going to leave that one blank. Inside here, this is where one of these is going to go. And we decided that the vertical one, the one that's going up and down, is going to slide inside here. So I can get 2 photos in there. Okay. Then I'm going to flip over here and I'm going to put one here. So I can go ahead and glue that down. This is going to be a vertical album, which is good because I typically do landscape because I love those 49 and Market albums that go landscape. So I've needed one for vertical pictures. So we'll put this one in like this. You know, nowadays we take so many vertical pictures, especially, well, we do especially because that's the way some of the social media platforms need them is vertical. So I end up with a lot of vertical pictures that can be used. All right, let's go inside of here. Now in here, we decided because we had that one that was sideways, remember, we were going to let it live like this. That just kind of made sense in there. And I'm going to close this up now. And let me see where else I can add photos. In here, so for these guys, instead of doing double-sided for photos, I'm going to put cut aparts on these backs, and then I can put 2 inside of here because, you know, they're closed up like that. It'll hold it in. So let's go ahead and find some cut aparts to put on the back of these. The cool thing about this is they're just going to fit because the cut aparts are 4x6, and then our mats are already made for that 4x6 paper on the back. And we have plenty of photo spaces in here. We don't need to worry about just using this for decorations. This will be really pretty. This album's getting weighty. I like it. I love when they get thicker when we add all the pieces. All right, so now these guys can go right inside, and we can put them either way. We can put them where the cut apart show, like this, which is cute to see that. Let's get that little bit of fuzz off. And then this guy will close down over that. Cute. Okay, I'm going to stop with the photos there. I feel like it's thickening up. Oh, I do have this pocket I need to do too. Oh, I can't stop yet. One more. All right, so we got those in. Let's come over here and let's make something for this pocket. I'm going to do the same thing with this. I'm going to add a cut apart to the back and put it in the pocket. But look at this. I think this will be cute. I'm going to come here and we can put a 3x4 photo right there too. I think that'll be precious. So for this opening flap on the bottom, what if we did this? So we don't add any more bulk and we just have a little saying there. Notice it's too big. I'm going to cut it down to fit. So this guy measures... He's 5 3/4 by 3 1/2. So I need to cut it to 3 1/4 by 5 1/2. So let's do that. Now, when I'm doing that and I want to center my image, I need to measure it, which is 4 inches. I know that. Okay. So 3 1/4 means that I need to take 3/4 of an inch off. All right. So I need to split that 3/4 of an inch and take half from here and half from here to keep my image in the middle. So 3/4 and half is going to be 3/8. All right. So we're going to come right over here and take 3/8 off one side. And then I'll take 3/8 off the other side. And you can check this. Remember, we needed it to be 3 1/4. So you can make sure you're on the 3 1/4, and we are. So now we know our image is centered top to bottom. Now we need to do the same on the sides. This is a 6-inch piece, and we needed to cut it down to 5 1/2. So then 5 1/2 from 6 means we have to take half an inch off. So it's going to be a 1/4 inch from either side. That'll be easy. So do 1/4 of an inch here. Turn it around. And here I'm just going to go to 5 1/2 and then check it. We're taking a 1/4 of an inch off. So that way we center our image. Just make sure whatever you need to take off, you split and take it from both sides. All right, so now this can go here, but the bottom needs to be rounded. So that's cute. So when you open this flap, it'll just say, "Hello, Winter." All right, and then that can live up like that, and we need to cover the top here. So up here, I cut a 6x6 piece down to fit. I'm going to glue this in, and you'll notice I left that kind of the back of the cut apart exposed. I think I'm going to use that for a piece of ephemera. I think that'll be cute there. All right, so we got that covered, and I can put like a title right there or something. That'll be cute. All right, this guy is looking good. He's got room for pictures. We're good. Let's open him up. And here's what we've got. We've got photos inside of here, magneted closed. We have a pocket with a magnet. All of this is what we've been doing. Isn't this fun to kind of see it all come together? Here is a photo, a front and back photo spot. Then here we open this and we have area for decorating in a photo. Come in here, we've got some cut aparts that have photo spots on the back. Put those back in, close that up. We open this up, open here, and look all inside of here. We got a front and back photo, plenty of spaces for ephemera and things like that. And then we come in here and we can do, oh, we need 2 photos here. I knew there was a space we needed some more. So we can add a 4x6 and a 4x6. All right, so let's do the fun part. This was fun, but let me show you what we're fixing to do next. So you're probably familiar with the ephemera packs that Echo Park and Cartabella do. This one is classic ephemera that we're used to. We'll open that up in a little bit. But this one is a pack called Titles and Phrases, and I'm really excited about this one. I feel like I never have enough titles and words in and around my photographs whenever I only use these. So we're going to look at what all comes in this little pack. This says, "Let it snow, let it snow, let it snow." See this winter fun? We're going to find places all throughout to add these, and this is going to dress the album up. And what I really love about it is they're not going to add a bunch of bulk because they're just cardstock and they're thin. So we're not going to be adding, I'm not going to add any foam or anything like that. I don't need it. We're just going to put these down to decorate. So just to give you an idea of what all's in here, isn't this cute? I hope they keep doing these packs. I'm very, very happy with this title situation because I think it's going to change everything for us. So I'm going to work using these and also these throughout the album just to kind of dress up spaces and make it look really cute. And don't forget, we still have our stickers from the pack as well. So I really like these cut aparts. I think they're really cute. And I think what I'm going to do is make kind of a strip to go on top of that piece that I decided not to put a photo. I'll show you what I mean. Let me cut this out and show you. So what I did was I cut 2 cut aparts, but left them together. And then I cut a strip to go behind them. And I'm just going to put them here for decoration. That's it. I'm not going to leave it open behind, but you 100% could if you had room. I don't have any room right here to add any more bulk. So this is going to get glued straight down, but look how cute that decorates the page. I think that this paper just does the work, y'all. It is just beautiful. And it looks like that piece was made for that spot. If you were going to glue this to make it where you could put something behind it, you would just glue the top and the bottom and put that down and leave the back open. But again, I'm going to close it straight down. You even could turn this into a pocket if you put glue on 3 sides of this. And then when you put it down, put it to one side or the other. So instead of going in the middle, go over here. But I just want it for decor. I just want it for color and pretty on this side of the page. Let's do something here. We could put a 3x4 photo up here, which is what I had thought about doing. Let me show you that. So if I put a 3x4 here, then I can do some decorating there, which I think is cute. Let's do that. And it doesn't add any bulk. This is a good spot for this because it's behind where the bulk is, and it's really not that thick, this little one photo spot, because it'll live behind that. Now let's find some ephemera to put beside it. I think this little window is really cute to put right there. And this is where you want to pay attention to kind of your words. I've got snow here and winter here. So I kind of don't want to add those words again. So I think this works perfect right there. It also kind of brightens that little spot up. We have a space back here we can decorate if we saw something we wanted to glue down just for some color. This is really cute. I love that little piece. I'm going to put that there. I think it's perfect for that spot. I know I'm putting plaid on top of plaid, but y'all know I roll like that. I don't mind. What I like is how it's shaped, and I like the little banner going up like that. It's going to be behind here most of the time, but when you pull it out, there'll just be a little something to look at there. I hope all that ephemera at the top doesn't bother you guys on screen, but I kind of keep it there so I can look at it as I go. All right, I want to show you something. Right here, this little guy, because of the way I built this photo space, is a little hard to open. So I want to think about that now. I thought about adding like a paper tab or something like that, but I feel like it won't wear well over time. So here's what I'm going to do. Going to take a piece of ribbon, and I'm looking for places to add more red anyway, because I think this album is beautiful with the little pops of red. So I'm just going to take a piece of ribbon that's about 2 inches long, and I'm folding it over to make a little loop. I'll show you. Let me turn this to the side. So you see I've just got this folded like a loop. What I'm going to do is I'm going to place this here so that it hangs out underneath. And I'm going to find something to place on top for decoration. And then when we close this, see if I can kind of show you, we'll have this little tab we can pull to open it. And I really like how that looks, better than having like a big sticker or something there. So let's open it. See how I'm having to kind of mess with it, but that's okay. We're going to put this little closure here. So let's go ahead and get this guy ready. I'm going to glue it down just to itself. Let that go ahead and be catching. So this piece that says, "Baby, it's cold outside," I think is perfect for this little spot. So we'll put some glue. Again, not adding foam. We're not trying to bulk this up at all. And I'm going to put this down here and see how long I need it to stick out. Just do a little test, maybe a tiny bit longer and more to the side. Like that. And I'm going to apply glue to the front as well of the ribbon. Then I'm just going to sandwich that down. And it may not be as cute on the back here, but it'll be perfect for the front. And I want to put something here. There's plenty of little pieces to fit. So I like this little banner, but you see how it hangs over my picture? What I want to do is make sure when I glue it down, I leave this edge free so a photo can slide under it. So just pick it up. I'm going to turn this around like this and put your glue only where it will stick down and not cover the photo. So you can see this is still open, so a photo can still slide right in. All right, let's look on the inside. So we've opened that, and then we'll open here. I think I just want to add a title of some sort right here. I really don't want to bulk this up. This is pretty bulky with all of this. Look how cute this would be right here, just for a little bit of color. Just says "Warm Winter Nights." And that's all I'm going to put in there because that's pretty bulky in that space, right? All right, so let's go here. We can do something here, or we can just leave that alone. We can put something around the photo. Let's see what we got. I really like this one that says "Snow Days." It sometimes will help you to pick out what pictures go there. So if it ever snows here, I can add pictures. We're holding out for snow this year. I just feel like this might be our year, but just saying that probably means it won't. Shannon just shushed me in the room. She's like, "Don't say it because it might not." Isn't that cute? I love to do that. And I'll show you something else. Whenever you're placing these down, I like to overlap on top of the little mat because when you put the picture there, it kind of will look like one whole piece. So let's go inside here. I feel like I have been waiting and waiting for this space. I feel like I'm going to find the perfect little title or something to put there. So let's see what we got. Look, you guys, it's literally like it was made for that spot. That's going right there. This one that says "There's no place like home." I've been trying to find a place to use it. This is the perfect spot. And I know it looks like I'm just adding a lot of ephemera and not photo spots, but you got to remember, I'm trying not to add bulk. So although a photo would fit here, the problem is I've already got so much bulk underneath this that I don't need to do that. This needs to stay pretty much just a flap to cover this section up. Then down here, I can do the same thing. But let's look and see how much is covered. So what I want to pay attention to here, let's say that I'll just pick one of these up. Let's say that I decorated this space here, move that out of the way, with this. Well, it looks cute when it's open, but let's close it and see what we get. It looks a little bit strange like that, right? So whatever you do here, you want to make sure you pay attention to what it looks like when you close it. So right here, I just happen to have this little scrap that's perfect for this width. And then I think this wording, winter fun, will look pretty on top of that. And when you close this down, you won't see it. All right, so we close it. Our magnet still works and you don't see it, but when you open it, there's something cute there. All right, let's go to the next page. I have to use this little banner. It's been yelling at me, so I want to put it down. Again, I'm going to make sure I don't glue anything here so we can slide the photo underneath it. This little banner says keep calm and winter on. I'm going to put him down at the bottom. I'm going to use a couple of pieces of ephemera down here. I think this will be really cute. So I'm putting glue to two sides. So what that does is it just glues it down here and leaves that open for the photo to slide underneath. And then look, won't this be cute to add this little title down there? So I'm going to put that and just glue it from the bottom. And that way, when we put our picture here, it's all decorated. All you do is slide your picture under and in and glue it down. Let's see if we can do something at the top up here. Oh, this is a cute one. This says, there's no way that we're staying indoors today. So what I'm going to do with it is just put glue at the top here. And then I'm going to put it sort of at the top of the page, almost like it's a little flap coming from the top. Somehow I got glue on myself there. That's not unusual while doing this. And then we'll glue that down. And again, it leaves this open so I can slide the photo in. That'll be cute. I like that there. All right, so that's plenty inside. And those just don't add bulk. That's what I love about the ephemera, even versus the stickers. These are so thin, I can get pretty images, but I don't add bulk that way. Okay, we want to add something else here. Maybe, maybe not. I feel like I could head on to the cover at this point and leave the rest for whatever at the end. And let me tell you what I mean by that. I made all those albums for my daughter-in-laws for Christmas and gave them to them. And I also gave them all the leftovers I had, the pieces I didn't use. Like, for example, I gave them the stickers, the cut-aparts, any paper I had left over. And so Taylor has had time to work on hers, and she finished her. She put all her photos in, and she was able to use the stickers and things to decorate with because they match the album. So I can do the same thing here. I can either give this to someone, and they can use all the extras to decorate when they put their pictures in, or I can save them for when I have my snow day that is going to happen this year. I'm holding out hope. I can add pictures in them. But let's work on the cover. Let's see what we're going to do here. Okay. You remember how I messed this piece up? I cut this too short because I had my spine incorrect, which we fixed in part 1, by the way. All right. I also remember how I loved how this looked, how they did the little decorator strips. And I thought they did it so cool this time for us to be able to use this inside our album. How cute would this be here? And I can't decide if I want to put the word down on the bottom down here, or if I want to put the word at the top up here. That's what I'm trying to decide. I kind of think I like it at the top. I feel like it makes more, it feels like it's like open me, but on the bottom, it feels like I need to turn the album. So I'm going to glue this down there. I like it, and I think I want to use it. So just going to glue this right to that edge. And it kind of fills in that space. Even though a lot of you said you liked this larger green piece here, I do too, but I just think I want to add this. And I'm going to use that little stripe on the page to help me line this guy up. There's a little stripe on the plaid that this can fit right to, and it'll look seamless. Yeah, I like that. That looks like it was, created for that space. All right, now let's talk about what we're doing here. So you guys remember how I did that cut apart strip on the inside? When you open this up, I'll show you in case you forgot how I did this one. I think that same kind of thing could be really cute on the front here. So I did this. I found this piece that has a solid, or not a solid, but has a pattern at the top and then says cozy and warm. And if I put that right there, I just think that's really pretty. And then we can add something here. So before I glue it down, I want to see what I want to add to the top. I love how this cozy and warm is here. One thing you could do is you could consider using this area for like your year, like the date, or maybe the title of your album. So you might want to wait and put something there, but you could also just run through and find things like that. That's really cute. See how you can just dress this up? Let's just see what all we've got that'll make this look so cute. I think that's the one. I think that looks really cute. I tried several on there, but I like that "'Tis the season to be freezing." That's cute. So I'm going to glue that down. Now, I don't like to add like foam and stuff to the front of my albums, because if you're going to slide these into a bookshelf, if you pop something up on the front, it can get caught and kind of rip away. So you'll see me just glue all of this straight down. In the paper pack, I found this little word strip on the end of one of the pages, and I think this will be cute to use on the spine, just to give us a little bit of something there. There's a lot of plaid on this album because I went very heavy plaid, especially on the sides. So let's see how this is going to look. So I feel like we could do Winter Wonderland, and we'll get the word freezing down here. It'll kind of cut off. But see all the little words we can get on the side? That's really cute. Let's see if we need a piece under it. I want to add a little bit of red to this album. So I'm going to glue this strip down to a piece of scrap red that I've got and trim it so that just a little thin piece shows all the way around this piece before we put it on the spine. Now this is what I'm going to glue onto the spine. I think that'll be cute, and I like adding that little bit of red there. So that's how the spine turned out. I think that's cute. Got a little red on the side. Here's the front. And I think I'm going to call that done, you guys. I could keep adding and keep adding forever. But if I do, I'm just adding bulk, and I don't really have my pictures yet, so I don't know how I really want to do it. So let's stop here. I can always go back and add more, but let's do a walkthrough. So when we open this guy up, we have our first section here, and that gives us these 2 pages. Again, I'll decorate after the fact, okay, especially in there. Then over here, we have a spot for a photo inside of here. We have our little cut apart that when we peel that out, it shows the little sweater weather. And then this can go back in here. And then here we have a pocket, which we need to put our photo mat back inside. That'll go inside of there. We come over here, we pull our little tab to open this to see a photo, and then to open it again to do the whole page. And here we have 2 photo mats. Then if we close that back up, we open this page, we have a place for a photo, more photos, more decorations here. Super cute. And then one more page, places for photos. This guy is loaded up. So lots of flips and flaps and different things inside this album. And hopefully it's just a lot of good ideas for you in your future folio making, so you can think of ways to use some of the tips and tricks you learned here in the future. Now, see how much it bulked up? I had somebody comment that they felt like the hardback albums were more sturdy than the folios. And I wanted to make sure I'll talk to you about that. When you get all of this, especially this is Cardabella paper. You can feel the difference when you use Cardabella. But when you get this all done, they're nice and sturdy. And I know on camera it's hard for that to relate, because you're just using cardstock and you think that it would still feel like cardstock, but it really doesn't. If you haven't made one of these yet, I challenge you to make, even if not this one, make like our 3-page wonder, just to see how they kind of feel when you're done. And I think you might be surprised. It might open your world up to the opportunity of using the hardback albums as well as these, because these do have their place. And I think, again, once you touch and feel it, you'll see what I'm talking about. All right, you guys, I got to see your albums. If you're making them, please share them with us on our customer gallery at MaymayMadeIt.com, and join our Facebook group, which is called Maymay Made It, and So Did I. You can show your albums and see what other folks are doing over there and get a lot of inspiration that way as well. Hey, thanks so much for being here today. And until next time, bye now.